Hello everyone, it's Naomi, and today I'm here talking about the misconceptions between depression and anxiety. I think this really needs to be said because there's a lot of people that will claim they have something when they really do not and will spread misinformation about this topic. So here we go. My first point is there is a difference between being depressed 1 week and major depression as a whole. Yes, you can say you are depressed or you're feeling sad, and it can last up to a week because maybe your dog died or you broke up with your boyfriend or you've been going through some friend drama or something like that. But it does not mean, or it does not always mean, that you have major depression disorder or clinical depression. So please, if you're feeling depressed for a week because your dog died or something like that, or you're just going through a rough time, please do not go around saying, oh, I have major depression disorder or I have depression, because that is definitely not it. Yes, it can be, and it can lead to major depression disorder or you having depression, but it does not always mean you have depression. Next thing is, I've heard some people explain depression, and I was right next to them when they explained it, as just being sad. Yes, yes, you can feel sad, but there's so much more to it than just being sad. You can feel sad for a week, but it does not mean you're depressed. When it comes to depression, it can also mean you have loss of motivation of doing anything you want to, like you like enjoying. So say you like doing makeup, maybe you don't do makeup for a whole month because you just don't have enough motivation to get up and do it. Or maybe you like drawing in my case, and you just do not have enough motivation to get up and draw, and that can be as much as just picking up a pencil or going and grabbing your sketchbook across the room. It can also mean and come into the form of fatigue and having little to no motivation to do anything, just like I was saying, meaning you have no motivation to get up and shower yourself or get out of bed, which mainly explains why I'm late a lot of the times to school, because I just have no motivation to get up out of bed at all, and it causes a huge argument between my parents and everyone like that. So I am late a lot of the times, mainly 10 to 15 minutes late to school almost every day, which is really bad. This can come in a form of people appearing or thinking that you are too lazy, mainly with schoolwork. A lot of times I see it a lot in me with schoolwork. A lot of people thinking you're too lazy, or you're just being lazy and you just don't want to do your schoolwork or get up or do anything, which is definitely not the case. You are not lazy, you just have no motivation to do anything, or you don't see the point in doing it. So a lot of the times people will procrastinate on schoolwork until it's just late at night and all they want to do is sleep, and they don't end up doing their schoolwork at all, which causes a drop in grades. And a lot of people look at me thinking I am extremely lazy, when that is not the case at all. I just don't see a point in doing schoolwork at all. So a drop in grades is a very big factor when it comes to depression, either because you have no motivation to do that schoolwork, and once you see a drop in your grades, and that just makes you not want to do your schoolwork even more, because you're just like, well, I'm failing, then what's the point in even trying anymore, if that makes any sense. Also, with the lack of motivation, it can come with not wanting to clean your room at all or do anything of personal hygiene at all. Your room can sometimes look like a complete and utter mess because you just have no motivation to get out of bed and clean your room, and in turn, a lot of people will look at you like you're lazy. Going along with the sadness, yes, you can feel sad, but a good majority of the time people with depression will feel completely numb and they have no emotion at all, and they don't feel anything, not even sadness. A lot of times I will feel so numb and I just want to cry, but I cannot cry because I don't feel sad. I don't feel anything, but crying does release stress, and I just can't cry because I don't have any emotion at all, and it really sucks, and I can't tell if I want to be numb or if I just want to be sad. It really sucks. Another thing going along with depression is loss of appetite or overeating. A lot of the times mine used to be overeating. I would eat everything. Like, we would get a snack in our house that would be gone in like days because I would just eat, because a lot of people like to eat out their emotions. Lately, it's just been loss of appetite, so a lot of the times I will not eat at lunch. I will not eat breakfast because of anxiety issues, and I do not want to have a stomachache before school. So it's been a lot of loss of appetite, which then can lead to either weight gain, which I've never had a problem with, or weight loss. Another sign of depression is you could be sleeping a lot more or not sleeping at all. Insomnia is very common, but with me it is I sleep a lot, and I'm meaning like I could sleep all day. Like I could sleep till 4 in the afternoon and still not want to get up, and even if I do get up, I'll be mainly in bed watching videos all day. So if you are sleeping and you say you get 16 hours of sleep and you still feel tired and not wanting to get up, that could also be a sign that something bigger is going on. In my case, I could sleep for 15 to 16 hours. One day I did that and I could still get up and still feel like I want to sleep, and that in turn causes me to just watch videos all day or not do anything for the rest of the day. Now that I got kind of the bigger picture of depression, there's a lot more people will experience it in different forms. I'm here to also explain why I'm talking about this in general, why I think it's kind of important to clear up the misinformation that is being spread, mainly sometimes in high school, and it was a lot of times in middle school as well. I think it's really important because from personal experience, I don't like talking about my depression at all with friends, because I feel like every single girl at my school is always being like, oh, I fake my smile, or oh, I'm depressed and stuff like that, which then invalidates or makes me feel invalidated for my own feelings, even though I truly struggle with those certain things. And no, I did not self-diagnose myself with these feelings. Please do not self-diagnose yourself, and if you are experiencing feelings similar to this, I definitely recommend getting help before it causes an even bigger problem than what it is right now. And you may feel like, hey, I don't need help, especially a lot of times with depression. A lot of people are like, I don't deserve help, or I don't need help. I can get out of this on my own. That is not the case. You definitely need help. If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts or self-harm, that is when we draw the line, and you need to get help right away. You can always talk to your parents about it as well, or even your school counselors, and they will definitely help you get help. So, in conclusion with the depression portion of this video, if you are struggling, maybe it's just 1 week and you're feeling really sad, but you're saying that you have depression to other people, please stop. If you really believe you have depression, try and get help. But other than that, if you're going through a really rough week and maybe your dog died or a family member died, or you're going through friend drama, please do not jump to the conclusion that you have depression and start telling everyone that you have depression, when in reality that might not be it at all. If the feelings persist for more than 2 to 3 weeks or even a month, then that turns into a bigger issue, and you could be possibly struggling with something more than just losing a family member or going through a rough period in your life. Also, I think this is really important to talk about and to make sure that people know about this, is the more people who are saying that they're depressed or have depression when they really do not, makes people who are actually going through depression and may actually have major depression or any clinical depression, it makes their feelings feel invalidated in that everybody goes through it, and they may feel like they don't need help because everybody goes through it, when in reality not everybody is going through what they're going through, which in turn causes them to not get help. Now moving on to the anxiety misconception portion of this video, specifically social anxiety, because that's what I struggle with. Please do not say you have social anxiety if you hate people. That is ridiculous. If you hate people, do not say you have social anxiety, because a lot of the times with people, when they have social anxiety, they want to be social, but they physically cannot be social. So it's not that we hate people, it's just we can't communicate with people as well as normal people can, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying we're not normal, I'm just saying we have issues that cause us to kind of, I guess, in a way, put a filter over ourselves to where we can't actually be ourselves, and it sucks. We suffer a lot from it. Another thing with social anxiety is it causes a really big roadblock when it comes to school and stuff like that, and it can actually make us miss and skip school days because maybe we had a lab and we couldn't find a partner, or we don't have a friend in a certain class, or we don't have a friend in any of our classes, which can cause us to miss classes completely because we feel like nobody likes us or nobody wants to be our friend, if that makes any sense. It can also cause problems when it comes to talking with teachers about certain grades. We don't want to go up and bug them when we're not really bugging them. We're just asking them about certain things. Sometimes I don't even want to walk into a classroom late or get up to blow my nose or ask to use the restroom because I'm afraid everybody will judge me. A lot of times it happens when I'm walking down the hallways and I'll have really heavy breathing. I'll start sweating a lot because I feel like everybody's looking at me and judging me when really that's not the case at all. It happens a lot with figure skating as well. I do not like going to freestyle sessions or public skates when I know nobody's going to be there that I know, because I feel like everybody's judging me and I'm not welcome there. It constantly feels like you're in a state of you don't belong in a certain social situation, or so it causes you to completely avoid that social situation because you don't feel welcomed anywhere. And it can also make it hard for us to communicate our own feelings because you feel like you're a burden to people when you talk to them, and you have so much social anxiety or you have so much anxiety around certain situations that it's just really hard to like communicate with people. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for the anxiety portion. I feel like I did a better job at the depression portion, but anxiety is also something I struggle with, and it's really hard to explain in this moment. Anxiety is really hard to explain. Another thing that happens with social anxiety or anxiety in general is that you will have stomach pains if you get too anxious, or you may feel nauseous at times and shaky and dizzy. In certain situations, it can be social or just any situation for no reason. Sometimes I get extremely anxious for no reason at all, and I'll start to have an anxiety attack and have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, it only becomes a problem if it's because normal people from time to time will experience anxiety, but it becomes a problem when it's actually affecting your everyday life, which it is for me right now, especially at school. Going back to the stomach pains or nausea, a lot of the times I'll avoid eating breakfast in the morning because I do not want to have a stomach ache at school, because I don't like to get up and ask to use the restroom. I have to mentally prepare myself to ask to use the restroom or to answer a question in class. It's kind of like I have to take a breather, step back, think about what I'm about to say, and then ask it, and that could go on for a good 30 minutes during class. I also wanted to mention that social isolation when it comes to depression and anxiety as well is also a big factor in those two mental illnesses as well. Sometimes with social anxiety, you want to hang out with people, but you physically or mentally cannot, just because you want to hang out with them, or you feel like you have to hang out with them so they'll keep being your friend. But you're so mentally drained from hanging out with people that you just physically cannot hang out with people, if that makes any sense. With depression, it can also be social isolation, same thing. You are so mentally drained being around people that you just don't want to hang out with anyone, and you kind of just want to be left alone. Agitation and irritation, agitation or irritation is also a big thing with depression and anxiety as well. And if you do have depression, you could also have anxiety disorder as well. They kind of go hand in hand. And that's, in my case, that's what's happening. In my case, I have depression and anxiety, more specifically social anxiety. So yeah, gotta clear that up. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. So I hope this clears up a few of the misconceptions when it comes to mental health, especially depression and anxiety, because a lot of people, they think they're going through something like that when it could be kind of far from it. If you're having a bad week, it doesn't always mean you have clinical depression, and if you're feeling embarrassed in a certain situation, it doesn't always mean you have social anxiety, if that makes any sense. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching and listening to this. I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.